Hey everyone, this is Jack from the Cardboard Herald with Nick Brachmann at the Leader Games booth. PAX Unplugged 2024, making the pilgrimage, the return journey to Leader Games, as we've always done something here. And you are kind of the man of the hour promoting your upcoming game.
Yes, all of the upcoming Ahoy content that's coming out. Yeah, it was on crowdfunding like last year, and we have all the PPC stuff here. We're showing off Ahoy Rivals and Renegades and Ahoy Fang and Fortune. And yeah, people seem really excited about it. I think a lot of people are already once surprised by Ahoy, and then extra surprised to see that it has a ton of new stuff coming soon.
So do you perceive any difference in how maybe the initial response was to Ahoy versus people's excitement for Ahoy as a new proposition to them? Maybe they've never played Ahoy before, but seeing that there's this additive content, because, you know, that sort of ability to swap things out and see things from a different perspective is pretty cool.
No, I think it's something, I mean, I've learned a lot about just working at the studio as a designer and a developer. It's like, people love content. I mean, it's just it's the most simple truth of it. You guys love it. Yes. And it's the, like, it also, though, it's easy to view it cynically like that, but it also actually is the thing that, like, content allows people to imagine. It allows people to speculate. And when I see Ahoy as it was as the base game, I think people, because it has 2 players and 2 smugglers, it has this, like, perception that it's very limited in its play space. And it's not. I made 4 factions for it, you know what I mean? So, and I think it shows, again, like, how much there is actually to chew on. People, like, almost they'll give it more goodwill and belief that it is going to, like, deliver on that promise, because clearly it can support so much stuff now, which is refreshing to feel, frankly. It's really cool.
So you're on the crest, on the other end of delivering this. Is going to be 2025, mid 2025?
Yeah, it'll be to backers and, like, early Q2 Gen Con release in general.
Okay, so development and, like, everything's done on the expansion.
It is completely done. It is at production. Everything's signed off. It's just waiting to come.
And you're a senior game developer, so that means that you're, like, dabbling on projects that everyone else is working on, or are you working on your own stuff?
So we often go on to, like, a little bit of cool down when we finish a project, where Cole wants to make sure everybody has time to, like, do whatever you need to creatively. If that's working on old content, new content, a completely original thing, he likes to give us the space to do so. And so that's meant working on the parts of the route expansion that I'm interested in, which has been, like, the maps and some of the hireling content and kind of testing that stuff. I'm not going too deep into the faction content right now because Josh is just so set up to be successful at that. He knows everything about it. He is the master of it. It's great that he's the one in charge.
I saw him over there demoing the new factions.
Yes. No, it's great to see. It was one of those, like, I could not ask for anybody else to be more. I'm not happier that nobody else is in charge of the root stuff than Josh. It is the best person to be in charge of all of it. He's so plugged into it. It's great. So I'm helping a little bit with that. Cole's working a lot on the Oath expansion, which I haven't been too involved with. I was involved a little bit in the early stuff. I'll be involved again once, like, you know, the closing development, polishing stuff comes in, checking card abilities and stuff. But I've been working a lot on just, like, prototypes and stuff. I have my prototype for a bug game called Swarm that I've been working on.
You've been working on that for a while.
I have been,
Pikmin inspired?
It was very Pikmin inspired,
I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, so it was inspired originally by Pikmin entirely, and specifically the bingo battle in Pikmin, which is the 2-player competitive mode that can happen in it. And Swarm's been in development now for, not development, that's not correct. I've been working on the prototype for, I don't know, like a year. And recently, games are weird. It shifted away from the competitive thing. It's now a co-op game. In the most recent version. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff I've been testing out recently. I'm trying to give it more true, like, narrative hooks that tie into the actual, like, structured bugs and what you expect. So now it's more of it's a survival game. You need to, as us together, as commanders of this ant army, we need to survive for a week in this world. That means preventing bugs from making it to our hive, maintaining our food supply. We also need to go out and find our queen and bring her home before the weekends. But if the queen's home at night, she likes to eat a little bit more, so we need to make sure we have supplies in order to keep feeding the queen every day.
As a huge fan of Pikmin and Sim Ant, you're speaking my total
language. Exactly. That is where I tried to go with it. After playing a lot of the competitive version of it, I found that there were just a few things of it that didn't let it be as, like, competitive games can't be quite as playful as a cooperative game. Because in a cooperative game, I can allow, people are more willing for bad stuff to happen, because we're both experiencing it. We're together in this bad situation, not, oh, well, I'm down bad, I lost all my bugs, you're just going to beat me now, right? So trying to get more of that sim ant energy is, like, where I went. I'm like, I want like structures that you build. I want it to be up the society that you maintain, right? It isn't just about like collecting random objects. It's about maintaining an order, right? Living. Yeah.
So is a convention like this productive for you? Because of course you're here helping show the content. You're working on behalf of Leader, and you work for Leader.
Yes.
But like, do you look for opportunities to go to Unpub? Do you look for opportunities to get inspiration for your own games? Are you searching for other games here?
Yeah. So I love walking the floor. I mean, I am a consumer still at the end of the day, despite working here. I love buying games. And I mean, I love picking up new stuff. I picked up Pagan, Fates of Roanoke, which I'm really excited to explore. One of my coworkers picked up Kelp. I'm excited to check that out too. I've talked about I probably might buy Ironwood while I'm here to see what that's about. I do think it's a great time to buy stuff and to learn about what's going on here. And also it's the thing, like, at home, I don't have, my partner and my friends and stuff don't play as heavy of games as often as I do. So the fact that I can grab some weird kind of heavy game off the shelf, buy it, and play it tonight with my coworkers and learn it it's just so valuable. It really is. And then with like development stuff, I am trying to bring Swarm around more. I know I can be a little, I'm a little bit more sheepish sometimes with my designs and sharing.
You're a little bit more cagey.
I am. It's just, it's weird. It's just weird, and it's complicated. But yeah, I think I'm trying to show it to more people. I'm trying to see like where we're actually doing it. But also, unlike other years, we don't have, sometimes we would have a space in Unpub or in First Look or whatever those things were, where we would have, our scrappy little demos to show and whatnot. If I showed you, I can't set up Swarm on the table next to arts and stuff. It's a prototype. It looks horrible, right? But I do need to show it to people, right? So I'm meeting up with Greg after this. Greg Loingald, right? The designer of Ahoy.
I just met up with him a little bit ago.
Perfect. We all know each other.
Yeah.
So I'm meeting up with him after this. I'm going to talk to some of his students. I'm hoping to show him it, maybe get some opinions, because it's so funny what it's turned into. Like all games, I see how Cole's games turn out that they are. Swarm is turning into like a combination of its action system is kind of like Fort, its exploration is kind of like Ahoy, it has a pickup and delivery system that's kind of like, and I'm like, I see how you end up here in these places where it's like, some of my favorite parts of Ahoy were the map construction, bringing stuff around, how do you actually manage the logistics, and like now I have a game where I can just lean into that. I can make it about the map, about exploration. And so it's just like, you find all these new opportunities. That's really exciting.
That is so cool, and I'm really excited. I've been following through these interviews that I've had, successive interviews with you on the development of Swarm. So I can't wait for the next interview where we're like, well, we've cut it down to its 4-letter name at this point.
Yes, exactly. Now it's Bugs.
Yeah, exactly. So that way it passes the test and Patrick doesn't kick it out of the boot.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't get booted.
Yeah. And I know that you look for inspiration through a whole host of different things,
for sure.
And not just exclusively board games. Like you said, your dedicated group, your partner might not be as big of gamers as you. Are there any like video games, music, movies that have particularly like resonated with you recently that you were like, there's something to play with in a tabletop space on this? Yeah,
I think a few of them. I got into Survivor over the last year and a half. Really into Survivor. I'm late to the party, I guess, but no, that has been like, it's been my favorite exploration of like game design I think I've seen in a long time. I think like, the quality of the television aside, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but watching a group of people who have, there's 47 seasons of it, they've played the game 47 times, Jack. That's not that many times, right? Like, every season they are reacting to what's happening 2 seasons ago, changing it, alternating a little bit, and seeing the way that they decide to maintain challenges through it, when they decide to give up on certain mechanics, how long they're willing to hold on to certain ones before it like comes to fruition is always really surprising to me, especially in a TV setting where this is over months we're talking about, like years that they are making these choices about. So I think stuff like that is like just fascinating lately. I would love to work on a reality show. If this finds somebody and you need a game designer, I am interested beyond my mind. Yeah,
I think we just need to start one.
Yeah, no, I think so too. No, I mean, I think there's I've like watched that. I think The Circle is also an incredibly interesting social deduction game. No, I think like one of my big ones is like I think reality TV is very underrated in terms of how much interesting game stuff is happening there. I think people like to write it off as schlocky bad TV, which it also is, but also like some of the most
game design standpoint,
some of the most interesting stuff happening there. You have up to 20 people who have to do the amount of control they have over the game is insane. It's just like, it's such a liberty you can't even imagine. Yeah,
that's incredible. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see all these things come to fruition. Yes. The new Ahoy content I'm super excited for because I love Ahoy,
Yep.
and I am just always glad when I get a chance to talk
Yeah,
to
no,
you.
I'm always glad to see you, Jack, genuinely. So it's always a pleasure, for real.